Hey, I've been home for almost 2 weeks. I am starting to get some momentum on this Reconnect with My Roots project. When I first decided to start the adventure at home, I really just wanted to come home and make sure that the family recipes didn't die with the generation before mine. And I don't think that the Asian American hate situation was a big factor in that decision. Honestly, it's just a love of food and wanting to share it with other people that made me want to start there. But considering current events, I'm really grateful that that's where I decided to start the journey. I have been spending a lot of time with my mom and my grandma and having some pretty uncomfortable conversations that I never anticipated uncovering as much baggage as I did. Last week was really hard, and I appreciate all of the really sweet messages about the video that I posted while we were all experiencing everything in real time. I took some time to process a lot. I did a little mini road trip to Hot Springs, Arkansas, and I didn't really expect to feel super comfortable there, but seeing all of the flags flying at half staff on all of the spas did something pretty good for my heart, as did just disconnecting and hanging out in a yurt and doing fun things. But I spent a lot of time alone in the car thinking, and I realized that I keep talking about having forgotten my Vietnamese and what that means for me. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized I didn't forget. I erased it. I did everything I could to minimize all of the things that made me different or other so that I fit in better and that I felt comfortable being around all of the white people that I was around, that the whiter I could come across, the safer I felt. And I think part of me thought, I was raised, my parents had me before they could legally drink, so they had it hard trying to raise a kid, and it took a village, everybody trying to pitch in and make sure that somebody was looking after me. And a big part of my identity is being as helpful and easy to deal with as possible, because so many people needed to take turns watching me that I just couldn't be a little terror, and I got so much self-worth from being a helping set of hands while I was with those people, and that's still a big part of who I am today. And I didn't realize that that portion of my personality contributed so much to me just eliminating all of the things that my mom tried to instill in me. And I remember having fights with my mom about it growing up, but I don't remember making a conscious decision to eliminating bits and pieces of myself until there wasn't very much left. I can totally tell you that I'm at this point not offended when people don't know how to say my name, but I think it did bother me a lot when I was little, and it got to the point where I just laughed it off and made a joke and then just stopped using my last name. I would bring lunches to school, and if people made fun of me for what I was eating, I remember eating nothing but turkey sandwiches for years in high school because somebody said something about the leftovers that I'd been eating. I always lived with roommates, so I never wanted to make anything that smelled or would be considered weird, and so I kept my cooking super basic, and that's why I don't cook the food and have never tried. I stopped speaking to my mom in Vietnamese when my friends were around, and then that became just not speaking it at all. And when I thought about all the tiny little pinpricks of racism that people experience, they all add up until things just start to leak out through all those gaps, and you just try really hard to assimilate. And it's something that we don't even consciously know we're doing. And when you talk about the model minority myth and how hard it is for the Asian community to experience the whiplash of being the people that everybody considered to be smart and hardworking to the people that they're now blaming for everything that's happened in this past year, and this 1900% increase in hate crimes against Asians that are largely going unreported, and a shocking amount of people don't know what's happening. And when I was connecting with my Asian friends that were all having a really hard time with it, we were all asking ourselves, are we just a sensitive bunch of crybabies? Why? We don't even know these people. Why are we having such a hard time dealing with it? And I think it's because as Asians, we were just taught to not speak up when things were going wrong, and because we were bullied in a minor way, we have a lot of empathy for the people that were being bullied in a deeper, more dangerous way. And it was one thing to not talk about people making you feel different and other by asking, where are you from, what are you, or how dehumanizing and minimizing it is that people don't even bother to learn how to say your name. That was all something that you could tolerate. It wasn't scary. Watching what was happening to Black people, Jewish people, Hispanic people, LGBTQ people, that was something that really upset us because we just couldn't fathom why their differentness was causing such horrible actions against them. And so when it started happening to us and our people, and the support and the outrage wasn't really there, that we were being gaslighted and erased, it brought up a whole lot of feelings for a lot of us. And so I read a bunch of comments about like these entitled millennial crybabies and how it's a liberal issue and we're just whining and we're making it up, and all of that is really hard to handle when we've swallowed it down for generations, and now it's dangerous for us too. It's dangerous for everyone, and we just need to be speaking up. So I don't know if it helps or hurts for me to sit here and talk about what I'm seeing and what I'm going through and the posts that I'm sharing that have resonated with me, because realizing that you're not alone and that that's not something that you just did to yourself, that's something that we as a culture facilitate, because being anything other than the status quo is dangerous and a problem, is something that I believe deserves the space. And while I would never consider myself the best person to have these conversations, and I'm by no means an expert, I think that a lot of people can benefit from what we share, because the things that make us different are what make us special and makes our community stronger. And if I'm here trying to reconnect with my family and the things that we're proud of, I think that I should take some time to reconnect with what I tried to hide and erase to make other people comfortable. Honestly, it hit me really hard because I didn't know it was happening. It's stuff that I've been doing my entire life. And I remembered a bunch of occasions where I said and did things to make other people happy, and how crappy that felt and what I held on to and what I hid. I think it's important to explore. So my mom and I are going to have a pretty deep dive discussion today about when that started happening and a lot of the conversations that we used to have when I was little that I just put out of my mind. And I think that that'll be really helpful for a bunch of my other friends that are really struggling with how we got here. By no means is Spoiled Spinster going to be, a social crusade. It's part of my story and it's part of what I'm doing while I'm here. And so I'll share, and you're welcome to skip it if you don't care or you don't believe me. But it's just something that I feel like I need to do while I'm here and I have the time. So I will be working on that as well. I'm really excited. I get my second dose of the vaccine next week. I am putting plans together. I'm starting to assign dates to the trips that I'm taking. I am working on I just got my health insurance done. I just got my house insurance figured out for my rental, that sort of adulting thing that's really not fun. But I have my first fun little adventure under my belt, and I have a couple more in the works. So I'm really excited to take everybody along with me. I am really enjoying this process. I am learning so much about myself and growing in ways I never could have imagined. And I am super grateful for this opportunity. It's hard and scary. I am scared to be an Asian woman traveling alone. I am heartbroken that my plans to spend a lot of my time in New York and California now seem a lot scarier. But it's something I'm gonna do. I'm still working on it. I'm still working towards it. I am just tying up all the loose ends that needed to happen. There's some family stuff going on that I wanna be here for. And this food project is exciting and fun. I had a great conversation with my grandma yesterday about the dishes, and I think that it's something that everybody is going to enjoy, and I am looking forward to sharing that with you. So thanks for tuning in.